Your web browser is no longer supported. To improve your experience, updated hereThe UN Council is set to meet at the request of Russia, who claimed the US-led missile strike in Syria was an attempt to hamper chemical weapons investigations in Douma, labeling bombing an active aggression. Russia's foreign ministry says the US and its allies launched strikes on Syria to derail an investigation into a suspected chemical attack. The ministry noted that the strikes were launched on Saturday as a team of experts from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons was to visit Douma. It added that, "We have every reason to believe that the attack on Syria was intended to hamper the work of the OPCW inspectors." The US, Britain and France said they launched Saturday's strike to punish Syrian President Bashar Assad for an alleged chemical attack against civilians in the town of Douma outside Damascus. The foreign ministry said that facts presented by Russian investigators indicated the purported attack was a premeditated and cynical sham. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the missile strike an active aggression. AAP, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, questioned French intelligence, which concluded that a suspected chemical attack took place, and said if any chemical stock were proven to be there, Russia would be the first to want to stop such an attack. They, France, said the facts were incontrovertible for the chemical attack in Douma, but said they could not share them with us, Mr. Lavrov said. According to BBC, Moscow denounced the attack on its ally, with Russian President Vladimir Putin calling it an active aggression that will only worsen the humanitarian crisis in Syria. The UN Council is set to meet at Russia's request to discuss the US-led airstrikes, which were executed on 3 targets believed to be the center of the Assad regime's chemical program operations. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, responded to the claims, saying Russia was carrying out a disinformation campaign, and the victims of chemical weapons attacks in Douma were not fake news. "We gave diplomacy chance after chance," she said, noting Russia had blocked action on Syria's chemical weapons 6 times in the UN Security Council. "We cannot stand by as Russia trashes every international norm that we stand for," Ms. Haley said. Russia's veto was used as a green light for Assad to use chemical weapons. "Our Syrian strategy has not changed. However, Syria has forced us to take action by use of chemical weapons," she said, adding, "The US is locked and loaded." Meanwhile, the UK's ambassador to the UN, Karen Pierce, said the UK's involvement in the airstrikes against Syria was a humanitarian intervention, which was legally justified. "The Syrian regime has been killing its own people for 7 years," Ms. Pierce said, "and the use of chemical weapons was a war crime and a crime against humanity." President Donald Trump and his British and French allies say the airstrikes were necessary to deter Syria's use of chemical weapons, but Russia insists there's no evidence that chemical weapons were used. Following the strike, Trump took to Twitter to call the operation a success, telling Americans it was "mission accomplished," and their "perfectly executed" strike will set back Syria's chemical weapons program for years. Copyright 9 Digital Thai Limited 2018 Syrian Civil War Usher Putin Vladimir Putin News Trump bombing contact US